Hey guys, this is the third part of the GUI programming. Let's see what we got for this lecture. So in the previous lectures, we learned three things. First, we learned the basics of GUI programming, and also, I talked about layout panes and their features. And also we learn how to draw shapes. All right. Now for this lecture, I'm going to talk about a little bit animation, how to move or transit shapes. And also I'm going to talk about event handling. And at the end, I'm going to talk about, a new tool that is very helpful for GUI programming, and we call it Scene Builder. Okay, animation. How can we move shapes? Or maybe it's better to say, how can we move nodes? Because this moving is very general, so instead of shape we can also say how to move or transit nodes. Okay, so that's what we want to learn in this section. Okay, so so we can change the property of the nodes, or specifically shapes, over time, and this is called animation, right? So we need to use this package. In JavaFX, this animation package is in charge for all all of these transitions. Okay, so the next point is, we have several types of transitions. I mentioned some of them, and I will take some examples, but you need to dig into them by yourself. So I just introduce a couple of them, and I will show you how can we do that, and the rest of them, yeah, it's I leave them for you guys. So these several type of transitions or animations, one is rotating, another is scaling, changing the scale of the shape, whatever it is, and also translating. So translating, it means that moving from here, for example, to here, right? And the other things that we have, we call it stroke transition, path transition, sequential transition, pause, parallel, fade, fill, and etc. Right? Okay. So how can we make a transition? So we need to follow a couple of things. First, we create that node, whatever it is. Let's say a circle. Then we instantiate the type of the transition, and also we set the properties of that transition, and then we call a method, it's called play. And these four steps are required for all of the the animation that we will make. Okay, so let me take some examples. So our first example that I will show you in a live demo is rotating a rectangle. So I create a rectangle, and then I rotate it, uh, you know 360 degree. Okay, now let me create a new package for our new experiences. So application, let's call it animation. And inside this, I'm gonna uh, copy from whatever we have. We have drawing circle. we can copy and paste here, and probably we should refactor its name to something more meaningful. So draw will be animate rectangle. Probably this is better. All right. So let's see how can we. So yeah, the circle we don't need the circle, and we don't need this, guys. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so now our job is to create a rectangle. So to save some time, because we know how to do that before we learn, so I'm gonna copy a simple method here whose job is to construct a rectangle. Okay, so let me. Okay, so here be very careful. The rectangle have many things. So AWT is very old one. This geom is not. It's very old one. This JavaFX is the correct one. All right. So let me create a rectangle here. Rectangle. Let's call it shape equal to, and we use this construct method. There we go. So up to this point, uh, and this group has this shape. Yeah, if you run up to this point, let's see what we got. Yeah, we have a red rectangle. Cool. So far, so good. Maybe create this 400, 400. Maybe it's better. Okay, so now our job is to create a animation. So in this demo, I'm gonna rotate this rectangle. So I will use rotate transition. Let's call it RT equal to new rotate transition. Okay, so we should resolve this, and fortunately this is just one import. Okay, now our job is to set the properties of this transition, right? First of all, I should add the node, whatever I want to rotate, to this object. So it will be set node, yeah, this one, and our shape is this rectangle. Okay. Okay. So another thing that we should set is the duration of the this rotation. So it will be RT and set duration, and it would need an object for duration. So fortunately the duration is an static thing, so we will ask as a milliseconds. So let's set it to 2000 millisecond, 2 seconds. Okay, another one is the angle. So set uh, by angle, which is I want to 360-degree. Another one will be how many times, which is the set cycle. Let's 10, for example, and that's it. We just need to call the RT play, and that's it. And we already added this shape here as well. And this portion of the code will rotate our rectangle. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna create a new class, but since we need most of these stuff, so I'm going to copy and paste. So let's call it animate um, scale or circle scale, and let's see what we need here. So instead of the rectangle, okay, so I would need to construct a circle for saving some, some time. Let me copy it from somewhere here. And all right, so we want to create a circle here. Okay, so the type of the transition, um, let's see. Yeah, I would need this stuff here, but I'm gonna delete this. And instead of rotate transition, we will have scale transition. And we copy and paste it here. And we need to resolve the issue. JavaFX animation, that's correct one. Okay, so when you look at this, you see a lot of unnecessary thing. To clean up all of this, Control Shift O will clean up all of your imports. Okay, so let me see what other parameters of the scale transition I should set. The first one is the setting the node that I already did, and set the duration is okay. And also I need to say how big it should the circle should be. So I would say set by X, and let's say I'm going to create what 50% to add its scale, and the Y, let's say 2, and also how many times RT. We would say set cycle count. Yeah, we had this. We could keep this one. So let's say again 10. And yeah, I think it's enough parameters setting. And let's see what we got so far. Let me make the code a little bit more beautiful. All right, let's see. There we go. Okay, to see it's better, probably I need to make this canvas a little bit bigger, but it's okay. So you got the point that what's going on. So you see that the shape, yeah, the 10 times is done. So the shape is scaling 1.5 in the X here in the horizontal, and twice as big as what it is in the Y, right? Now, if you want to shrink the size, just put a minus here. So minus here, and let's see what we got now. Yeah, see? All right. So with playing with these numbers, you guys can create, very beautiful animations. And our final demo for the animation is called translate animation. So we have almost the same thing, but instead of using that rotate or a scale, we will use this translate transition. Okay, now let me bring up my uh, Eclipse again. All right. We can, let me see this circle. Yeah, we can copy and paste this one. And let's call it circle translation. Okay. Okay, so the construct circle, I will need that. And let me make a bigger canvas. This is 600. And also here, instead of the scale, we will say translate. Okay. And we should import the right class. Yeah, that's the correct one. All right. So let's see. Looks like we would need this. We would need this duration. Okay, so this set by x, it means that where, in the x-axis, where this circle is going to move. Uh, let's say 500, and the y, let's call it 200, and 10 times play. Yeah, everything is set. We don't need to do anything here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there we go. You see? 10 times it goes. So we move a shape by translate. Event handling. Let's see what it is. So when your user is interacting with the application, there might be several events are being produced. So when we say event, what do we mean really? So let me take some example. For example, clicking on a button, moving a mouse, or entering a character in a text field. You see, all of these are some events. We have more, a lot more. For example, selecting an item from a drop-down list, or scrolling a page, and there are tens of this kind of events. All right, so in JavaFX application, this package is in charge. So JavaFX event is in charge to handle all of these events. All right. So in JavaFX, we categorize all of these events in several categories. So mouse event. So the mouse event, first of all, this class is in charge, mouse event, to handle all of these, the events. So here are some examples of the events. So for example, mouse clicked, mouse pressed, mouse released, mouse moved or hover, mouse entered a target, mouse exited a target. All right. So another category would be key event. So this class is in charge, key event, and here are some examples of the events that can be produced. Key pressed, key released, and key typed. What else? We will have drag event that again the mouse is in charge, and this class it will handle all of these dragging stuff. And here are some examples: drag entered, drag dropped, drag enter a target, drag exited the target, drag over, and there are, many more. And the last category would be the window event. So the window event is related to the window of your application, right? And this window event class is in charge. And here are some examples of the actions. So window hiding, window showing, and this kind of thing. Okay, so what are the windows? I mean, events properties. Each event has three properties. So first is the source. Source is from what device, or what is the source of the event that was generated. For example, mouse, it can be one kind of source that can produce events. Another property would be the type of the event. For example, we saw some examples from the mouse in the previous slides. For example, mouse pressed is a type, okay? And the third one is the target, where this event happened. It was a button, it was a text field, it was a window, it was a drop down list, and whatever. So to get a clear, more clearer feeling about this event handling and the especially the events and these three properties, let me take an example. So let's say this is a simple application. We have a shape here and play and stop, right? If we click on this play button. So let's see, let's recognize those three properties. What would be the source of this event? Clicking. I am talking about clicking. The source of the this event would be the mouse, right? And the type of the event would be the mouse click, and the target would be this button. Okay. So before, we have seen this event handler, and uh, we wrote a piece of code that we bound a piece of code to a button. If you remember, we use this set on action method that uh, you know uh, it is a button method, and it actually is a node method, and you can call this method for almost all nodes, right? And this piece of the code was bound to this event set on action. It was actually clicking on a button, and we bound this piece of code to that button, right? And today I'm gonna introduce a new method, which is a general purpose method. It's called add event handler. Its syntax looks like this, and you can add any event handler to the nodes, right? I will show you in a live demo. So this method has two arguments. In the first argument, you would say what type of the event I am going to handle, and here in the second part, in second argument, you put your piece of the code. All right. Let me take an example and show you a live demo. So what we are going to do here is we want to draw a red circle like this. And when we click on that circle, its color will change to blue. Okay, so let me get rid of these guys. And I'm gonna add another package here. um, event event handling, and I am gonna copy a circle. I need this circle. Copy here, paste, and let's call it refactory to change circle color. Okay, let's see what we need. So we don't need definitely these guys. And yeah, we need this construct the circle. And one cool thing that um, you can add to your circle is um, you can set the cursor, and you can call the cursor and change it to hand, for example. When you hover in a circle, the cursor shape will change to a hand. All right, um, I need to clean up the Control Shift O again, and let's see what we got so far. Yeah, it looks like good. All right, so now I need to add an event handler to my uh, circle that here I call it shape. So shape, um, you remember I said add event handler. Yeah, the first guy will serve whatever we need. Okay, so here I need to mention the type of the event that I want to catch. Yeah, or I want to listen. Okay, so fortunately there is some static value for this. So mouse event, you can call the mouse click. Yeah, the first one. So this would be the type of the event, right? And here we put our piece of code. So we are gonna change this circle's color to blue, right? So we just say we put a um, lambda transition here. We would say, okay, shape, set fill, and we can uh, change that to blue. Yes. Okay, so we need to clean up here. All right. So very easily we could add a piece of code, and here is the type, and you can have many of these, event handler. Maybe you can handle when we hover on a shape or something like that, or exiting a shape, right? Actually, we have an exercise. I left that exercise for you guys to add two event handler to solve a problem. Anyway, let's see what we got so far. Okay, so when we click on this, first of all, you see that the mouse is changed, and then when we click it, it turns to blue. Okay, so here is the exercise I left for you guys. So you're gonna write the same code, but when you hover inside the shape, it changed to blue, and when you hover back to here, it turned to red. Okay, another cool example we will have is we are gonna create a sensitive canvas that when we click wherever it creates a it draws a circle, a red circle like this. Okay, now let me uh, copy and paste this code. I would need that, and the name will be um, let's say draw circle at mouse, something like that. And let's see which part we need. So we construct the circle, we need that, but probably the radius should change to a little bit smaller. And also we don't need this changing the cursor type. Yeah, the color is red. Yeah, you can change the color to a random color, make it more beautiful. Okay, so here we don't need this, and all right. So we would need this guy to be added to the scene, and also um, yeah, so we need to this guy be added to the scene, not the shape. I mean, we are going to create a sensitive sensitive scene, not a shape, right? So we are going to add uh, an event handler to scene itself. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So instead of uh, this shape, we would say add this event handler to my scene. Okay, so what is the event? Yeah, mouse click, it's okay. But what? We need to construct, something, right? So probably we would need to call. Okay, so yeah, so if we construct a circle, um, it's not enough. It's not enough. Yeah, let me create another method. Let's call it, um, for example, put circle. And put circle would need the mouse event. Let's call it just E, and the group that we want to put that circle. Okay, so how we are gonna handle this? Um, First, we need to capture the point that the mouse is pointing and clicking, right? So we can capture it with two the coordinates. The x would be, so this mouse event will handle all, it contains all information. So for example, we can say, yeah, just get me the x. So it will return the position that the mouse is clicking. We can have the same thing. Let me copy and paste. Oh, I'm sorry, copy and paste, Control D, and we can create another y here and here. So with these two guys, we can capture where we are clicking, right? And then we can construct a circle here, and let's say circle, and just circle. equal to, and we can use this construct guy. So one circle will be constructed, and we put or we add this circle to that group that we just passed here, right? We can say, okay, root get the children, and we saw this before, right? Just add, and then only this new circle that we just constructed. All right. So this put circle's job is first, get this event, and based on this event, it needs to create um, this circle, and then it adds this circle to the this group that we just passed here. But we need to change our construct circle a little bit, because we need to parameterize, where this circle is being constructed. So I'm gonna uh, double, let's say, x and double y. So instead of, and here we can pass this x and y, and so the center x will be x and the center y will be y. So now I think we have perfectly whatever we need. So this put circle is just perfect for being here. And for the mouse event, we will have this E, and for the group, this root is good. All right. So one more time, let's review what we got here. So we created the group, and the group is, a kind of node that, or container that we put our shapes. So since here we are going to have several shapes, we need to create this group, and this scene is our famous scene. Nothing to add. The only thing that we added here is the, we are listening to what the mouse click. All of the mouse clicks on this scene will be listened and will be handled by this piece of the code, right? And the rest of that, I think it's very straightforward. We just created this put circle, and we parameterize our construct circle instead of hard coding the x and y. Now we are passing the, its centers coordinates, right? I think it's okay. It's whatever we need, and as usual, we can clean our code and also reformat it. All right, let's call it. Okay, so this is our canvas, you see? Yeah, works fine, right? Okay, okay, scene builder. Let's see what is scene builder. So when we want to create a GUI, we have two options. First, whatever we have seen so far. What was that? Just, create the GUI by programming, right? And we are almost familiar with that one. But the second option we have is using a builder tool. What is builder tool, right? These kind of tools are visual drag and drop tools. You can have a, canvas. You can create a canvas, and then you have some toolbar here, and you can drag and drop whatever you want, and you create visually whatever you want, right? So definitely they speed up the process of programming, definitely, no doubt. But here is my recommendation. As a software engineer, we need to know how to program. Yeah. So you need to, that's why I started with the programming concepts first, and then we had a lot of demos and this kind of thing. And our last topic will be using this tool. Okay. So the tool that we are going to use is called Scene Builder. So the scene builder is designed specifically for JavaFX, and it has a lot of, very, very cool features. First of all, as I said, you can drag and drop the components inside the canvas. You can apply the CSS component, CSS to on the components, and also you have it supports 2D and 3D scenes for game programming. It's a very, very powerful thing. Yeah, I'm saying to. And also, yeah, first we need to add it to Eclipse. Of course, before that, you need to download it. So when you click on this link, you go to here, Gluon website, and when you click on the download, be careful, we have Java 11 here and Java 8 here, so we are fan of Java 8. So go ahead and find your platform here. So for example, mine is Windows 64-bit. I go here and I will download it here. Okay. So since I have downloaded it before, I install it, and to save some time, I'm going to skip this. It will be very easy uh, task, but make sure that you know where you are installing it. I would suggest to create a folder for all of developing stuff. In my case, I will create a dev on my root of the C or D, right? And make sure that you know where you are installing it, because if you use the default, but then you will have problem to find that. Where is that, right? Okay, so there is nothing um, specific here, and just download it and install on your computer, and then let's see. Now we need, so here is um, the process that we would need to add it to the Eclipse. Okay, let me show you in a live demo. Let me bring up my Eclipse again, right? Okay, so you need to, after you install that, you need to go to the preferences, and you need to go to JavaFX, which you already added in your um you added in your Eclipse. So, and here the scene builder executable, that's where you need to browse and find it, and make sure that you know where it is. So in my case, it is on my um, C drive and dev here, and since it is related to Eclipse, I'll put it here, and the scene builder here. So I install it here, right? So you go ahead and find the exe file here, scene builder. You are set right now. So apply and close. So up to this point, we installed the scene builder and we added it to our Eclipse, right? Now let's see what we need to do. We want to write our first JavaFX application by using the scene builder, right? So I'm gonna just introduce a very simple application that we have seen before. It was just a button, a label, and a piece of code that by pushing the button, we added a counter. So by this simple application, I'm gonna introduce how you can use the scene builder. All right, let me bring up my Eclipse. Okay, so for this guy, I'm gonna create a new project. So we go to new project and the JavaFX project, right? And let's call it um, scene builder, scene builder demo. Okay, so now we need to be careful about some of these parameters that we should set here. So Java SE 1.8 is okay, and these guys are okay too. Okay, so here. So the application type is desktop. This is also here the language. So far we set it to noun, but now we want to change it to FXML. Okay, and here we can say what the the layout pane would be. So I'm going to go with the vertical box. And the file name sample is good. Controller name sample controller. Yeah, you need, in your real application, you need to change it more meaningful. For this demo, the sample is okay. So I'm going to finish. So remember with this, changing this language, what would happen in our application? When you look at this application, you will see now we have 4 files here. The main, we are very familiar with that main. Let me get rid of this guy. And yeah, we can close that guy as well and close this project. Okay, so you see this main, we are very familiar with this before. We have seen many times so far. Um, I will explain shortly about this, guys. Another one is a sample controller, and we have this application CSS. We have seen this before. Now the thing that is added is this sample FXML. So this FXML is a very important thing. In fact, this file is the interface between the Eclipse and the scene builder tool, right? I will show you when we are changing our application. We will see time to time to this file and see, the scene builder start adding some stuff into this file. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we got here. Okay, so this guy is, reading this application CSS file and applying, all of those changes that we put in the CSS. But for now, we don't need, to change anything, and this CSS file is empty. So, just we can either remove that or just comment it out. And we are familiar with this scene before, but what's happening here, it is, using a static method, fxml loader load, and it is loading that sample fxml file that I just, was explaining. So this is a very important part of this application. It's a very important file, and either you can use it and manually add some stuff, or you can use your set builder, and set builder will communicate with this file and it will add whatever it needs. So in other words, this guy, this fxml, is an XML based file that you can declare all of your components and all of its features, which is a very, cumbersome to, use it manually. Definitely, it's not a good idea. So using that scene builder definitely is a better idea. Okay, to activate our set builder, we go to here, sample fxml, and right click here, and we say open with scene builder, this guy, right? And the scene builder, something like this, will be appear here. All right. Okay. So this is the cool thing. So we start adding some stuff here and see how it works. Okay. So it already, created this VBox, and this VBox is actually our, layout pane, right? So first thing first, let's set up this VBox first. Okay, so we go ahead and in the layout, we can say our prefer width and prefer height. So let's say our width, our prefer width can be 600, and this can be 400. And after this, you see this appears here. So we have a canvas here right now. Okay, so since this is a VBox, it means that we can have vertically some stuff here. What I would need is a label, and I go to the controls, and all of the controls are here. So you see this label, and you can drag and drop here, right? And it's very small. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so this label, let's go ahead and set its properties. For example, the text. Uh, yeah, I don't need to have a label here. You just it's a count equal to, let's say, 0, for example. We can make it a little bit bigger. Um, yeah, it's complaining something that I will resolve that. So make it a little bit bigger. So 28, for example. And all right, so yeah, make it a little bit more. And the color you can uh, actually, it was not in our requirement. The color, let's stop here with black. Okay, so what else we need? We need a button here. Yeah, you just drag and drop here, and this is our button. All right, and it was count, And let me make that font a little bit bigger as well. All right. And these are the colors. Okay. So another thing that I don't like this is it left aligned, right? So let's go ahead and make the alignment in the center. So the alignment, you can find it here probably in the, mm, yeah, the alignment is right now top left. So the first one is the vertical alignment. The second one is the horizontal. So I would need, let's say, center center, right? Okay, cool. So the center center, and probably this is because it's a, okay. So the um, all right. Okay. Another thing is they are very close to each other. We can go ahead and add some padding or this kind of thing. So the layout, yeah, here we have the margin and here we have the padding. Let me add the 10 to all um, sides, right? Now it's not bad, it's better. Okay, what else we need? So let's say that it is good now, or maybe not bad to align this guy as well. So go ahead to properties. Now it's, it's center left. I would say center center. Yeah, now it's better. Okay, another thing, they are stick together. So let me add some margin here. Let's say 10, and we can apply it for all of the, different sides. Okay, so let me save this and show you what is happening here. And you see, the file, this fxml file is changed automatically, and all of these, all of whatever we did is declared as an XML file like this, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and inside the main, let's see what we got so far. There we go. Okay, so whatever we build is in this canvas. Now our job is to create a piece of code that when we click on this guy should be incremented. Okay, so we go to our set builder again. This is our set builder, and here we have a controller, right? We need to apply our controller, which is already there, right? So application sample controller is is written here. If it is not, you can go ahead and find it here, and it will be here. So the controller, we already have the controller, but we would need some piece of code to add, to increment this counter. All right, we go to our controller here. I'm going to add a public void. Let's call it increment counter, and we would need a private int counter. Let's start with 1, and this is the that instance field that we need to add it by pushing every click on the button, right? Okay, so this piece of code that we are going to add here is going to be called by the button, right? Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and call that piece of code here. So we should somehow bound that method to this button. And here we go here in the code, and on action we can add that. You see, it's still here. I mean, when we write that method over there, yeah, then we can put it here, right? All right. So how about this label? So somehow I should bind this label from this front end to the back end, right? So how can how can I do that? Just it's very simple. Just go ahead and create an ID for this label. Let's call it count, for example, LBL, right? And you see here, one warning here that we will fix this warning in a few minutes. Let me save this code here and go to our, Eclipse and look at this sample fxml. You see, it was, changed. For example, look at this on action was added, right? It's the method that this button should be bind to, right? And another important thing here is a complaint from the Eclipse that it is saying something, right? If you go here, it is saying that the controller, sample controller, has no field count label. It is complaining that you added a label and you gave it a ID, but you are not using it in your code. Where in your controller? I would say, okay, no problem. Control 1. It says add field control LBL to the controller. So yeah, now let's see what it added to my controller. When you look at the controller, you will see that this piece of code was added. And what is this? First of all, it is an annotation that our framework understand what it is, and it is a label, and this name is exactly the same name that we put for our label, count LBL. So this annotation guarantees that this variable here is bound to the front end, right? So in other words, so we can consider this label and this count LBL exactly that label. So I can use this label now here. I would say set text, and we just whatever we want, yeah? We can say count equal to, and then we can add that counter that start from 1, but after any push I want to add, so I have to put it inside a parenthesis to be able to use this syntax sugar, right? Okay, so what's happening here now? After any push of that button, this piece of the code will be uh, run. All right. What is the role of this annotation, fxml? This annotation is binding this variable to the front end label, which is this guy, right? Okay. So now let's go ahead and run our application and see what would happen. So yeah, it looks like everything is working fine. I'm gonna stop here and see you guys in the next lecture.